Listen closely, because this moment matters. If you're over 50 and still breathing, your life is not winding down, it's waking up. And the tragedy isn't aging, the tragedy is sleepwalking through the years you have left. This is your wake up call. In your 20s, time felt endless. You spent it without fear, without thought, without respect. You believed there would always be another chance, another year, another version of yourself waiting in the future. In your 40s, you started negotiating with time, telling yourself you would slow down after this phase or start living once things settle. But after 50, something undeniable happens. Time stops pretending, it shows its true value. And that moment when time becomes visible is not a curse, it is power. Because when time is no longer cheap, every moment sharpens your vision. You stop chasing distractions that once felt important. You stop tolerating conversations that go nowhere, commitments that drain you, and habits that steal your energy. You begin to feel the weight of every wasted hour, and instead of panicking, you gain clarity. Time becomes a compass. It tells you what matters and what doesn't. It forces honesty. And honesty at this stage of life is liberation. Most people fear limited time because they associate it with loss. But limitation is what creates intensity. When you know your time matters, you stop living passively. You stop scrolling through life as if it's a rehearsal. You wake up with intention. You choose your mornings instead of drifting through them. You understand that a single focused year now can outweigh 10 distracted ones in the past. That awareness turns ordinary days into deliberate ones. After 50, excuses become expensive. You can feel it in your body and in your mind. Every delay costs more than it used to. Procrastination no longer feels harmless. It feels heavy. And that heaviness is not there to punish you. It's there to push you forward. When you realize you can't afford to wait, you stop waiting. You stop postponing your health, your dreams, your boundaries. You move because standing still feels worse than failure. This is also the age when you finally understand that energy is not infinite. You don't waste it trying to impress people who don't see you. You don't spend it explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You become selective, not selfish. You learn that protecting your time is the highest form of self-respect. Every no you say creates space for a stronger yes. And in that space, your life begins to expand rather than shrink. When time becomes sacred, life becomes meaningful. You stop counting years and start counting moments that matter. You realize that the purpose of this stage is not to slow down, but to align, to live with precision, to act with courage, to choose what deserves your remaining energy and give it fully. Time is no longer something you spend, it's something you invest. And when you invest it wisely, the years ahead don't diminish you, they define you. You don't reach this stage of life without a past, and not a clean one. It's filled with choices you wish you made differently, risks you didn't take, people you trusted who proved you wrong, and moments where you know, deep down, you settled for less than you were capable of. Most people carry those memories like chains. They replay them, punish themselves with them, and quietly decide that what's behind them disqualifies what's ahead. But that belief is the real mistake. Your past was never meant to cage you. It was meant to train you. Everything you've lived through sharpened something in you. The failures taught you what shortcuts cost. The disappointments taught you discernment. The betrayals taught you boundaries. The seasons where nothing worked taught you resilience. You didn't just age, you accumulated insight. And insight is the one advantage no one can take from you. Younger people may have energy, but you have pattern recognition. You can see through illusions quickly. You can sense danger early. You can tell the difference between noise and opportunity. That is not baggage. That is leverage. The past only becomes heavy when you keep trying to relive it instead of repurposing it. Regret is useful only once, when it teaches you. After that, it becomes self-sabotage. You cannot undo what happened, but you can decide what it means. You can choose to let it weaken you, or you can extract the lesson and move forward lighter. Wisdom is not remembering everything you did wrong. Wisdom is knowing exactly what not to repeat and having the courage to act differently now. There is a reason you survived what broke others. You didn't go through those years of confusion, struggle, and endurance just to sit quietly and disappear. You went through them to become someone who understands life at a deeper level, someone who doesn't panic under pressure, someone who doesn't fall apart when things don't go as planned. That depth was earned, and the world is starving for people who don't speak from theory but from experience. You are not behind, you are seasoned. After 50, your past becomes an asset only if you stop being ashamed of it. Shame keeps people silent, silence keeps them small. But there is power in owning your story without apologizing for it. You don't need to broadcast every detail, but you do need to stop hiding from yourself. When you accept where you've been, you stand taller where you are. Confidence at this stage doesn't come from perfection, it comes from integration, knowing who you are because you know what you've survived. The truth is, your past is proof that you are capable of growth. Every hardship refined you. Every setback strengthened your judgment. Every loss stripped away illusions. If you use it correctly, your history gives you an unfair advantage. You move with calm while others rush. You decide with clarity while others doubt. You act with purpose while others hesitate. Your past does not define your limits, it defines your readiness. And once you understand that, you stop looking back with regret and start moving forward with authority. There comes a point in life when waiting becomes more dangerous than acting. For many people, that point arrives quietly after 50. You've spent years believing that the right moment will announce itself, that clarity will arrive first and confidence will follow. You told yourself you were being patient, responsible, realistic, but patience can slowly turn into paralysis, and realism can become a disguise for fear. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. No one is coming to give you permission to live fully. That responsibility has always been yours. From an early age, most people are conditioned to wait for approval, wait to be chosen, wait until you're ready. And over time, that habit becomes an identity. You hesitate even when you know what you want. You second-guess decisions you're fully capable of making. You look outward for reassurance instead of inward for conviction. After 50, that pattern becomes costly. The longer you wait, the more life feels like it's happening around you instead of through you. Momentum doesn't disappear because you lack ability. It disappears because you keep delaying action. The most dangerous lie is the belief that you need to feel confident before you move. Confidence is not the cause of action. It is the result of it. Every meaningful step you've ever taken in life happened before you felt fully ready. You learned by doing. You grew by risking discomfort. That truth hasn't changed with age. What has changed is the urgency. You no longer have the luxury of endless hesitation. Clarity comes from movement, not from thinking about movement. After 50, decisiveness becomes a form of self-respect. When you make a choice and stand by it, you send a message to yourself that your life matters. You stop outsourcing your decisions to circumstances, opinions, or fear. You don't need to explain every move or defend every desire. You choose because choosing keeps you alive. Even mistakes become valuable when they are made decisively, because they keep you engaged with life instead of observing it from a distance. Waiting also keeps people emotionally stuck. They wait to heal, wait to forgive, wait to let go. But healing does not begin with waiting, it begins with choosing differently. Forgiveness starts when you decide to stop carrying what no longer serves you. Letting go happens when you accept that closure is something you give yourself. Action is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet decision to stop postponing your own life. That decision changes everything. When you stop waiting for permission, your energy shifts. You walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You move with intention. Life responds to movement, not to intention alone. The world does not reward those who wait for certainty. It responds to those who act despite uncertainty. After 50, every decision is a declaration. Either you are still participating in your life or you are slowly withdrawing from it. Choose participation, choose motion, choose now. Your body is not a reminder of what you used to be. It is the foundation of everything you still can be. Too many people reach this stage of life and start treating their physical state like a memory, something to talk about in past tense, something to excuse, something to surrender. But the body doesn't ask for nostalgia, it asks for responsibility. After 50, how you care for your body is no longer about appearance or comparison. It is about whether you will have the strength to live the life you say you want. Energy becomes the real measure of wealth. Without it, ambition stays theoretical, relationships feel heavy, and even simple joys lose their color. When your body is neglected, your world shrinks. You start saying no, not because you don't want to, but because you're too tired. You cancel plans, delay goals, and slowly adjust your expectations downward. Not because life demanded it, but because your physical capacity declined. That decline is not inevitable. It is often the result of neglect disguised as acceptance. Movement after 50 is not about punishment or chasing youth. It is about preserving freedom. Strength means getting up without pain. Balance means confidence in your own steps. Endurance means being present without exhaustion. When you move your body consistently, you send a signal that you intend to stay engaged with life. You stop identifying as fragile, you start identifying as capable. The body responds quickly when it is treated with respect, even after years of neglect. What you feed your body becomes a daily vote for the kind of life you want. Food is not just fuel, it is information. It affects your mood, your focus, your inflammation, your resilience. After 50, careless eating has consequences that can no longer be ignored or reversed overnight. But mindful choices compound just as powerfully. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. Small, disciplined decisions, repeated daily rebuild trust between you and your body. Sleep becomes non-negotiable. It is not laziness, it is maintenance. When you protect your rest, you protect your clarity. You respond instead of react. You think instead of drift. A rested body supports a stable mind, and a stable mind makes better decisions. Neglecting sleep is not a badge of strength, it is a slow erosion of your potential. After 50, recovery is not optional. It is part of performance. Caring for your body at this stage is an act of self-respect, not vanity. You are signaling that you plan to be here, present, empty, capable, and strong for what comes next. The goal is not to rewind time. The goal is to expand what is still possible. When your body is supported, your confidence grows quietly but steadily. And with that confidence comes freedom. The freedom to say yes to life without hesitation, because your body can carry you forward. The older you get, the more valuable your attention becomes. And yet this is the very stage of life where most people give it away carelessly. They allow distractions to fragment their days, opinions to pull them off course, and noise to replace direction. After 50, this is no longer harmless. Focus is no longer just a productivity tool, it is a survival skill. Without it, life feels scattered. With it, everything begins to align. Distraction is subtle. It doesn't always come as chaos. Often it comes as busyness. Endless conversations that lead nowhere. Arguments that change nothing. Mental loops replaying old situations that no longer require your energy. Each one seems small, but together they drain your capacity to move forward. When your attention is constantly divided, you feel tired without having done anything meaningful. Focus restores depth. It allows you to invest your energy instead of leaking it. After 50, clarity improves when you subtract rather than ADD. You don't need more information, more opinions, or more stimulation. You need fewer commitments and stronger boundaries. Every unnecessary obligation you release creates space for something that matters. Saying no becomes an act of alignment, not rejection. You begin to realize that focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what actually moves your life forward. Focus also strengthens your identity. When you stop jumping between roles, expectations, and distractions, you reconnect with who you are. You remember what you care about. You notice patterns in your own behavior and correct them early. A focused mind is harder to manipulate, harder to exhaust, and harder to discourage. That mental strength becomes a quiet advantage. You don't react to everything. You respond only to what deserves you. Momentum is born from focus. When your attention stays on one direction long enough, progress becomes visible. Small wins accumulate. Confidence grows naturally because you are keeping promises to yourself. This is why scattered effort feels discouraging while focused effort feels empowering. You may move slower at first, but you move with certainty. And certainty at this stage of life is far more valuable than speed. Cutting the noise is not withdrawal from life. It is engagement with it at a deeper level. You are not shrinking your world, you are refining it. After 50, focus becomes your advantage because it allows you to move with intention while others remain overwhelmed. When your energy is no longer diluted, your actions carry weight. And when your actions carry weight, life responds. This is the moment where everything comes together, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, you are not here by accident, and you are not here without purpose. Every year you've lived has prepared you for this season, where clarity replaces confusion, where intention replaces waiting, where wisdom finally leads. Nothing is wasted unless you choose to waste what comes next. The years ahead are not meant to be smaller. They are meant to be sharper, more deliberate, more alive. This is the chapter where you stop drifting and start deciding, where your life reflects your values, not your fears. You still have time, you still have strength, and what you do next will matter more than anything you've done before. So don't slow down, step up, live with focus, move with purpose, and make the rest of your life your strongest statement.